Moving on with our ASU jacket setup, we're going to need to add the nameplate to the right chest pocket. So for that, of course, we will need a ruler, and you might as well get a nameplate too while you're at it. This is going to be pulled directly out of DA PAM 670-1, again, just like everything else involving the placement of stuff on your uniform. Specifically, it's 21-25C2A, and the requirements for this is that it's centered left to right on that pocket flap, and also from the top of the button to the top of the flap. So just for visual, centered here and centered from this top part to the very top part of this button. Pretty self-explanatory. We'll just get some measurements, push it in. Again, it's going all the way through the jacket, and then we'll be done. So just like before when we were placing the qualification badges, anytime you're going to center something, you're going to have to get some measurements, right? And remove the width or the height of what you're trying to center from the total amount of space that you have. So all of your nameplates are going to be the same size regardless of how many letters are in your last name. With your nameplates, you're looking at 3 by 1 inch. So if I know that has to be centered, we'll go ahead and get a measurement of the width of this. So here, I'm looking at 5.5 inches. If I pull that 3 inches out of it, it gives me 2.5. Split that right down the middle. That's 1 1/4 each side. So you can set this to 1 1/4 and go through and measure it and all that. Or quite simply, you can do like I did before. Get your little painter's tape here. And just like we did on this one, I've got it set to my 1 1/4. And I'm putting the tape right to the red line. Okay, so now we can come through here and center it up. Be easy. Walk it out. Do the same with the other side. Center it up. And walk it out. Alright, so I've got that perfect amount of space in between. Now with this tape, this isn't the best tape in the world. It's not going to give me a perfectly straight box, but it is going to give me a pretty solid set of guidelines there. So what you can do is just rest it right there on the pins. What you're looking for in most jackets, if you just set it right up against the edge of the opening for that button, give it a good visual, touch both sides a little and raise it up. See if it's squared, see if it's straight. So right now it's got a little bit of a lean to it. I'm just gonna twist it some, straighten it back up again. I look pretty straight. Now, I get a little dangerous here. I'm pushing it through. All the way through. Remember, you're not trying to just push it through that top flap. It's gonna set up off your jacket. It's gonna look really stupid. Okay. I've got my left to right center. And then we're gonna look at our top to bottom. You can measure it, it's 1 inch. You can measure that top to the top of the flap to the top of the button minus your 1 inch and split that in half. Or if you don't know how to read one of these, you can just line it up and see how much space you have. Okay, and then check the top. So right now I got pretty lucky. I got pretty center. One thing you're definitely gonna wanna do though, is slide it over the side, see how much space you have. If you're centered, assuming your jacket's straight, if you're centered, the nameplate's gonna look pretty good. Okay, I got lucky there. If in the event that you are not as lucky, it's a little bit crooked, just like we did before on all these other pins, just put some pressure on it, pull it out just a little bit, give it a couple threads up, push it back in and double check your measurement. This thing's gonna cover up any holes that you leave in it. It's not gonna damage the uniform. All it's doing is spreading those threads out of the way just a little bit. If you dry clean it, once you wear it a few times, those holes will just draw right back up. So as far as your nameplate goes, it's on, it's centered. Go ahead and throw the davits in the back. You are good to go.